we've talked about a lot of the things, well, we haven't really gone in depth, but we've mentioned on this channel that Johnson could be doing a lot to help vulnerable people. One of the things that he has not done is he hasn't reached out to help the self-employed. Why is he not reaching out to help millions of people who are self-employed who suddenly have no income? And they're shocked. They're in an absolute state of shock. And now it's not only just them, but you also have the gig economy part-time workers. And recently, this hasn't been reported much on, but there has been a union that has decided to take the government to court over this. So this comes from the Independent. So UK government's failure to protect self-employed gig economy to be legally challenged by union. So a trade union is taking legal action against the government for a failure to protect the wages and jobs of gig workers and the self-employed during the pandemic. The Independent Workers Union of Great Britain issued a legal letter accusing the government of discriminating against black and ethnic minority workers, women, and those in insecure employment in its response to COVID-19. The government last week announced that it would guarantee 80% of payroll workers' wages, but unlike in similar schemes abroad, Britain's 5 million self-employed people will not be covered. Additionally, many self-employed people are not eligible for other benefits like statutory sick pay, which in any case is only £94 a week, well below a living wage. Action came from Boris Johnson. The action came as Boris Johnson faced escalating pressure to offer support to self-employed who will not benefit from the support or wages announced by Chancellor Rishi Sunak last week. The PM's official spokesperson said that the government understands the difficulty and the position self-employed people are in, adding that we are actively considering further steps. Well, as of today, the time of doing this, they've done nothing, and it says to me that they're going to continue to do nothing. Again, the party of business people. We appreciate the urgency of the situation, and officials are working around the clock to find a well-targeted support package. But the IWGP General Secretary Johnson Morley said that many low-paid and precarious workers are on the front lines of this crisis, distributing food, delivering medical supplies, cleaning buildings, and looking after children in need. Yet they have the least protection. Many who become sick or need to self-isolate will receive little or no sick pay. Others who are laid off will not receive wage subsidies from the government because they are not employees. No one wants to be litigating right now, but we can also not stand by while our members are exposed to unnecessary risk or driven into destitution. The IWGP, which was founded in 2012 to represent precarious workers in the modern gig economy, has launched a crowdfunding appeal for £20,000 to help fund legal costs in the battle. Self-employed workers can currently access a much less generous £94 a week in universal credit benefits and are given the ability to defer self-assessed tax payments until next year. In some other countries, workers are being given their average of their previous year's pay. Linda Arguete, a cleaner and member of the IWGP's Cleaners and Facilities branch, said, I worked as a cleaner and I'm a widowed single mother. As important as it may be to self-isolate, having to live on half a month on £94 a week would make my life impossible. I would have to choose between buying food for my family and following the government's health advice to protect the public. Greg Howard, a delivery rider and secretary of the IWGB's and Couriers and Logistics branch, said that while other workers are being offered some assistance during the pandemic, as a gig economy worker, I'm being refused even the most basic protections, while the government expects workers such as myself to provide essential services during this crisis. If I am sick or the company I work for has to downsize, I will be driven into deeper hardship. The law has to change so it protects all workers. In 2018, the European Committee on Social Rights, an enforcement body of the Council of Europe, warned the government that the UK's low rate of statutory sick pay was manifestly inadequate and in breach of the legally binding European Social Charter. The IWG was also joined in its call for action on the self-employed on Monday by former Governor of the Bank of England, Mervyn King, as he told BBC Radio 4's programme that the government needed to offer further help regardless of the cost to the public finances. And of course, as we said at the time of doing this, no other help has yet been offered. So it is very likely that it will just continue. And remember, these are Tories. They are not interested in offering anything else. And one of the things that we've mentioned before is, will the Brexit transition be extended? It would be completely irresponsible of Boris to just say, right, at the end of the year, boom, no deal, whatever, we're just gonna go with it. It would be absolutely ridiculous. Remember, at this moment in time, the EU has pretty much said, yeah, we're going to deal with this crisis first. We're not interested in dealing with you yet. If you want an extension, you can have it, but whatever. That's the situation we're in. And it would be absolutely ridiculous because it's very, very likely that this entire pandemic will cause a recession. Not only that, if we leave, we will have a double recession, because not only are we still dealing with in this country the effects of the 2008 crash, we will have to deal with the worldwide recession of the pandemic crash that this will probably cause, and then we will have our own crash. So it will be a double dip recession, not for worldwide, just for us, and that will be absolutely devastating to this country. Brexit has essentially has to be stopped. It doesn't matter that we've left. We can apply to rejoin, but you know, and I'm pretty sure they'd have us back if we asked. But Boris doesn't want to because, as I've said before, Brexit fulfills a lot of these right-wing fantasies about what they want to do to the UK, and it is, of course, what they've wanted for years. And you know, ironically, this crisis will change a lot in terms of people's working standards, how people work. We're going to certainly see an increase in sick pay, because I tell you now, a lot of people are going to be very angry that they suddenly have to live on £94 a week, and they're realising, well, actually, I can't survive on this. So this virus will bring in a lot of social policies and what people want, but as I've said, we have a Tory government that isn't going to want to do anything, which ironically opens up a massive opportunity for Labour, even potentially the Lib Dems. But yeah, we'll have to see there. So anyway, like I say, stay safe. Social distance, hug, all that.